But in some ways, even in Rush, hopefully you can hear us now.
Oh, okay, that's, okay.
You can hear you, Tracy.
Can you hear me?
Condado. Briggs,
Here.
Ottinger is absent. Harris. Here. Hess,
Here.
Jensen,
Here.
Ives,
Here.
Sorgo,
Here.
Lopez. Here. Timmons,
Here.
Reed,
Good morning, and Russ texted me, he has no audio.
I have audio now, Billy. I can hear you now. I'm here.
You fix it.
all right, thank you. Couches,
Here.
Almakinder,
Here.
Schultz. Is absent. Pushing,
Here.
Walden. Here. Lee. Here. And Howard.
Here. You wanna check?
Steven, can you hear us yet?
Yes, can you hear me?
We can hear you now, perfect. Good one. We have 16 supervisors present, 2 students, and 5 supervisors absent.
We have 16 here, 2 students, 5 absence, we have a quorum, we can put on business. Everybody should be, supervisors, use your microphone when you're speaking. Today we have Parker Lee and Val Walden, student representatives. They can vote on issues, it will be non-binding, they can participate in discussions of the agenda items, but they will not be allowed in a closed session. At 9:45 today, we will start the budget hearing. There'll be a presentation of the budget. Then we'll open it to the public hearing. We'll close that, we'll reconvene. We'll do a public comment on other matters, and then we will discuss the supervisors will discuss the resolution 67, 2025 to approve the 2026 budget. With that, I'll move on to accept the minutes of October 21st, 2025 meeting.
Move approval.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any corrections or changes to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor signify.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved unanimously. I am going to move the, because Tony has to leave, I would like to report some broadband report, and Tony will do that. He has to leave the meeting early.
Good morning, so I just have a quick update, so, there has been a final draft of to the forestry department on the tower over there, so we're working on figuring out how to move that forward. And then, there was also some good meetings with, Bug Tussle, and Common Council, last week, and there's a meeting scheduled next week, with executive committee to talk more about the laterals and connection to the building and that type of situation, so we hope to give you more information there. But one thing that I can give you to this morning that's in my mind, very good news is when those 1,567 locations were thrown out with the Bug Tussle first draft in the bead bob. They threw out the fixed wireless because fixed wireless would not meet the needs of broadband consideration, 100 down, 20 up, that type of situation. So they got reallocated. So now the breakdown for Oneida County is Bertram has 3,227 locations. Bug Tussle has 1,778 locations that we have left, and then Starlink has 53. The best thing I can report is now, since they threw the fixed wireless out and it's all fiber to the home, the amount of money that Oneida County got from the BEAD Bob went from 18,300,000 up to now 23,700,000. So we got over $5.3 million back to Oneida County to get these folks hooked up fiber to the home. So I'm excited. These are all preliminary, and then there's also a match on that for the ISPs to do that. So with BEAD Bob, Oneida County is getting $34,550,000 out of that. So we're now in the top 5 of Wisconsin counties in getting money back. So that's encouraging. I'm really excited they threw the fixed wireless out because I don't think that was going to work to start with. And so now we're up to that $23.7 million. So that's what I got for you.
Question, Tony, so this is fiber right up to the houses
Yes.
in this What happened in the first one that we did with bug tussle? That's not to the houses?
Yes, it is.
It is, okay.
So that's the whole thing. We consider fiber to the home gold standard, and that's what we want our residents to have.
Any questions for Tony? Okay, thanks, Tony.
Okay.
We'll move on to 2025 annual report of the United County Treasurer. Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You have it in your packets for you this morning. Is there anything that anyone needs me to go over?
Go ahead.
Would you like me to go over into reports or?
It's your report. Tell us what you want us to know or.
Well, I pretty much listed all in here for you. We give you, the grand total of what our collections are for the year. I show you who's delinquent left in the county by township. And we have a listing here to show you what your parcels are in each town, the change from this year to last year. And, new as of last year, your last page shows you who we did not put into our in-rem process. I have one person to add to that list that didn't get put into the report. There was a probate findings. So I did add RH 2828 to the not put it into the file due to probate processing of Dwayne Maddox Jr.
Any questions for Tara? Rob?
But just in general, as you look at the trends from Atlantic County, does it look favorable? Are things, are tax delinquents increasing, staying the same? I mean, a lot of people are experiencing financial difficulty, but it looks like we're in good shape in those trends.
We collected more than we had the previous year, but it's really hard to compare every year to every year. I don't think there's anything drastic. Our foreclosure processes haven't been very high quantities. There's been much less quantities even going into the file now than when I started. I had lots more. So I think it's actually possibly improved some.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Tara? Okay, thanks, Tara. Sure. We got a few minutes to go on to public comment on matters not related to the budget. Time limit of 3 minutes. Anybody in the audience want to do public comment on anything but the budget? Anybody in the audience? Okay. All right, let's do the consent agenda. There's 15 consent resolutions. Oops, I'm sorry.
Consent, so real quick on consent, executive committee wanted consent to occur after the budget resolution.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a number of resolutions in there that
We're running out of items.
That's right.
All right, I guess we have to wait for the public hearing.
Everybody greet your neighbor. Say good morning, shake some hands.
4 minutes.
Go get a coffee. The coffee pot says decaf. It's not decaf. I used the wrong box. Regular. The sport it's in it. Right, that's I'm like, nobody has to drink the coffee.
How am I doing, Chad?
Car's still good.
Page one, I feel like it's.
Oh.
So then not to be wrong.
That's the one.
He's actually. I hear nice filmmaker. He actually will have it.
Every year we run into. Don't answer it right now, just prepare the next round.
Yeah, I don't see him, having probably shrinking his year.
Well,
Switch them off, right?
next year's gonna be.
Yeah, that's right. We'd rather get some parts. I love doing it, it's just crazy. Million or so. Each guy.
I worked downtown. First year I did something last.
I told my cousin.
All right, it's 9:45. We're gonna continue with our public hearing on the 2026 budget. A presentation to the public of the proposed 2026 Atlantic County budget by the county board chair and the finance director. The budget process started in July to September. Departments worked with their committee of jurisdiction to prepare their budget request for the next year. In October, the executive committee held 3 days of public hearings to review the budget request in detail. At those hearings, $1 million in cuts were made. Today is the full county board hearing, so we will may debate the budget. Any supervisor may make a motion to modify the budget for 2026. Highlights are the total budget is 74.6 million for 2026. The general fund operating budget of 34.1 million balance without having to tap any fund balances or rainy day accounts. The capital improvement plan for 2025 is 5.1 million. This includes over 3.1 million in highway projects. Also, we have set aside 1 million to replace fleet equipment and IT services in other departments. Wrapping up the 2026 capital plan with 388,000 for buildings and grounds, 355,000 for forestry, and 257,000 for solid waste to keep our public building equipment and roads in good conditions. Areas of concern, as I see them, is the state imposed tax cap. Property tax levy proposed for 18.8 million next year. The equalized value increased 9.5% on an average. That means that maybe some towns are gonna go up 15%, and maybe some towns are gonna go down to 5%, but the average is 9.5. The county's allowable increase is known as the levy limits is capped at net new construction at 1.3%, which is 207,000 in levy increase. Compared to our 2026 wage and benefit increases of $1.5 million, that's a $1.3 million hole to find in our areas such as additional revenue or eliminating services and personnel. This gets harder every year that the cap stays in effect and our wages and benefits go up that high. Sales tax and building permits continue to be historical trends. How long can we depend on this growth patterns? As an organization, we need to prepare for when the economy slows. Personnel costs account for 53% of the total budget, projected $39.3 million next year of the 74.6 million. Current challenges with recruitment and retention are a problem. We absorbed the human service center functions, increased headcount substantially since 2003. The budget proposal includes a COLA of 2.64%. That's consistent with the Wisconsin Employment Relations Commission to keep up with the market. We need to work on a long-term plan for workforce affordability. Federal fund cuts. In 2004, Oneida County received 7.2 million in federal funding. Not all of this will be impacted by the federal cuts, but human services and public health department heads will need to work closely with their committees of jurisdiction to stay on top of this topic. The county board will need to be kept up to speed on any funding losses as early as possible, so funding and policy decisions may be made by this body. The burden rests on the committees of jurisdiction to inform the executive committee of these changes. Overall, this is a sound budget proposal. I appreciate the hard work that has gone into preparing it for the county board. That being said, I encourage the supervisors to ask questions and encourage you to make any amendments you feel strongly about during resolution 67, 2005 deliberation. Is there any questions from the supervisors at this point without deliberating into the budget? Anybody? Okay, at this time, we'll open a public hearing for public comment and we'll limit it to 3 minutes. Anybody in the audience want to make a public comment on the budget? I think this is the first budget hearing I've ever seen that nobody except staff showed up. Anybody? Somebody say something? That's a good. Okay. Let the record show that nobody made a comment at the hearing for the budget. Close the public hearing and we'll reconvene the regular county board meeting for the purpose of taking action on the resolution for ordinance amendments in the 2026 budget. With that, I'll move on to resolution 67, 2025, offered by the supervisors of the executive committee to approve the 2026 budget and 2025 tax levy collected in 2026. Any discussion? Supervisor, any question or discussion on the budget? Anybody want to make a motion to?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 67, 2025.
No, that,
Oh,
no,
we're not that far yet?
any changes.
Oh, changes.
We'll act on the resolution once there's no questions or motions made.
I thought we were there.
Any questions on the budget? Any motions to be made on the budget? All right, I'm gonna make one on. Well, it's a training, this is a training.
You gotta have at least one.
Oh, I got a couple, so. I will make a motion to reduce the county library budget from $474,635 to $294,658, a reduction of $179,977 to their request. I will need a second on this to discuss it. Second by Ted Cushing. I'll explain why my motion is that way. The county library budget is levied against only the towns within the county that are not part of a library district. So when they come to our October and they say we want X amount of money, that only affects 14 towns within the county. We have 3 library districts in Oneida County with 6 towns in the city of Rylander. Participates that would be Crescent, Minocqua, Newbold, Pelican, Pine Lake, Three Lakes, and the city. They are all in library districts, depending which one of them they chose. That leaves 14 towns to pay for the county library budget, which is above the levy limits. And I could name all the towns, but it's all a balanced town besides those. State statute 43.12 pertains to the county payment for library services. Statute 43.12, parent 1, parent B, requires the county to pay 70% of the number of loans of a material made by the library during the prior calendar year. Libraries only present a request for tax levies, which are much higher than the state statute requires. The 3 library districts send out to the 7 municipalities that are in those districts in the fall, their budget requests, and those 7 municipalities vote on their request at their town board meeting. So each one of the towns controls how much they're paying for the library. This is all the 7 municipalities pay for the 3 libraries. Then the 3 libraries have a budget request that the other 14 towns will pay for, a request to the county and the entire county board. All of the 21 supervisors will determine what the 14 towns will pay. Also included in the county library budget is out-of-county libraries, which is included in the current budget. We pay Anago, Boulder Junction, Crandon, Manitowoc Waters, Merrill, Tomahawk, and Eagle River are all paid by these 14 towns. Based on Oneida County residents going to these out-of-county libraries, the county is charged back for all the residents that use these libraries, regardless of where they live, and only the 14 towns are paying for this. The out-of-county libraries bill Oneida County at 70% of the state statute requirement. The county library request is significantly more than the 70% required by the state statute. The budget of $420,000 equates to over 122% of the loaned out materials. That means they're charging us 14 towns 22% more than the actual cost. By approving this motion, it does not change what the other 7 municipalities within the library district have to pay. So bad. And it was too bad, but I never understood for 24 years how the library worked until the last budget cycle when we got into it. I received off the internet information called System Information and Public Library Statistics. And there's a lot of material in there, but some of the key points is circulation. Minocqua has 114,217 circulations. Rylander has 128,000. Minocqua has a budget expenditures of $561,202. Rylander has $1,055,662. The library square foot in Rylander is 15,000 square feet. The one in Minocqua is 14,000 square feet. The difference is Minocqua has 6.82 employees, Rylander has 14.1. It amazes me that we do the budget hearing and we take every department and we lower them. I wonder what if we took our departments in the county and they came to us and said, we want 100. We're gonna present 100% of what we need, but we want you to give us 122%. So this is something that, I think nobody has studied this in the past. They just come and ask for it because it's out of levy limit. Nobody questions it. So my town used to give the library, extra money. We didn't know we were paying so much money in the county tax levy. So today it's up to decide if you wanna cut that back. And then have the libraries come to us and tell us. I talked to Ted, he's been on a board, asked him how much he's paying, he had no idea till I told him how much he was paying for library. You know, we need accountability, just like we make the departments accountable. Instead of just saying, okay, you asked for it, they don't have to by state statute tell us how much they're spending here, how much, they only have to do is ask us for money. And it's just been given over the years. And I don't think anybody on this board knew how the library budget works. So with that, any questions? Diana?
Could you remind me of what your proposed cut was and what their new?
My proposed cut is to take them down to the 70%, just like all the outlying ones are.
Okay, but
So-
what was that number? The 100,
Let me go back.
179,000.
Reduction.
It's a reduction of 179,977. And it puts them at 70%. And then the balance, I think, is the way the state statute is they make it up in library cards and other ways that they charge, but right now, and Tracy just handed me a sheet that I was unaware of, but right now, within the budget, Rhinelander. Right here. Rhinelander is at 135%. That they're charging these 14 towns, in other words, 35% over what it's actually costing them. Minocqua is right at 100%. Good job, Billy. And Twin Lakes is at 188%. But I think the problem is nobody has questioned in the past, they just accept it. But I think it's time that we make the library responsible to educate us and come to an agreement, and I believe if they need the money, we would give them the money, but just keep giving us this number. It's just gotten out of hand over the years, I feel. And Diane, go ahead, she's on the library board.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, just for clarification moving forward, so if this reduction is approved, then okay, so you said if they need more money, would they just come back during next year's budget hearing?
Next year's budget.
Okay. I just want
You know,
to
and
clarify what that process would look
and
like.
here's what we don't see. The library districts, we don't get to see their budget. They tell us we need this much.
Yeah.
Then they got the other libraries around them, and in this book, it says that somewhere around $90,000 they got last year.
Mhm.
But we don't see that figure either. So we don't know how much money they got, what they're doing.
Yep.
They just come and say, give us this much.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that. Move forward.
Billy?
Just to be fair, the library brings pretty good representation to the budget hearings. And I understand and agree with your concerns and actually have been on that side, asking some questions over the years, and it is hard to understand. I've had confidence with some of the people that have been on that board in the past. Understanding over the years a complicated formula, and you're not in your head, or your eyes are growing
Very
to
complicated.
do it. My concern with your motion is that the process of them establishing their budgets for 26. And now we're taking a pretty drastic cut. For towns like Minocqua and the other 13 that have libraries, I think it was 13. I believe, this is a way to balance the scales. Minocqua's paying $300,000 to $400,000 to operate its library. And it's open to everyone in the county, even outside the county, to use. Now, in my perception, can the libraries do a better job of really giving us good numbers of who outside their town's jurisdiction is using the thing? Yes, we talked about library cards and being able to really give us good numbers. But the way I look at it from the outside is if we're budgeting to tax those towns in total, was it 200 some thousand, almost 300,000? For how many townships? I mean, I'm just using round numbers. So each town's kicking in 20 to 25,000 to have access to these libraries, which I know the one in Minocqua is wonderful. I mean, it's providing a great service and does a lot of things other than just checking out books. So it's hard for me to support it just because I don't like doing it without us fully being educated, asking those questions to them. And I wouldn't support the motion the way it's presented today.
And I just want to add to Billy, and I believe Minocqua is running very, as I go through the records, very efficiently. The difference is that you as a town get to vote to pay that. Here, 21 supervisors get to vote what 14 towns, what they're gonna pay in the library. It's a little bit different. And then we're paying for all the out of town libraries, which nobody else is. And then we're also paying like $2,000 for the library board. That's what the 14 towns are paying for. So you may disagree with me. But if we make a cut, I am sure by next year we'll have a better understanding. If we don't, see how that goes too. Who is it? Rob?
Chair Olowinski had been part of this discussion since 2014 relative to the libraries. Just a couple of questions. At the town level, and I think Tracy can answer this too. Does the library fall within the budget or can you tax above the limit for towns?
At the town level, it falls in the levy limit.
Right, so the towns that you mentioned, we have to make it fit within the levy limits. Okay, the county doesn't, and maybe that's why the thing gets appealed quite often. I certainly agree with Supervisor Freed in terms of, I'm a little uncomfortable with them not being here to try to explain the difference between 14.1 employees at Rhinelander versus 6.2 at Minocqua. If this were approved, could that 179,000 go into a contingency? Still be part of the budget, be put into contingency, and then give the people an opportunity to come back, and then we could use that. If they make a good, rather than wait a year, make a cut, wait a year, could it?
Can I ask Tina that question, Tina, cause you're basically charging that out to each one of the towns, just like you do ambulance and just like you do bridge aid. How would that,
Just to clarify for the public, the Department of Revenue is doing. So the library portion statutorily is above the limit, so we cannot levy for that
Right, okay.
and set it aside in a contingency. It is one of the above the limit
Yeah, okay,
exceptions, so if it's levied for that purpose, it has to be expended for that purpose.
okay, so that answers that question.
okay. Look, Robert, you done or more questions?
No, I think it is difficult to understand, and I don't know if at the state level that needs to be reviewed. I mean, I agree that 21 of us are can determine what 14 pay. But then a number of us, it comes out of our levy at the town level, so it's a difficult question. I've asked questions before at budget hearings. Sometimes they think I like them, sometimes they think I don't. But it is complicated, and I know you've been on that, and we try to ask questions. But yeah, I'm a little uncomfortable not having them here to try to defend the cuts.
Yeah.
I am as well. I've been questioning the 14.1 FTEs at Rhinelander versus the 6.2 at Minocqua. I've been questioning that for probably 3 years now that I've been going to the arbitration hearings. What did you say circulation from Rhinelander to Minocqua? What was the?
It's all of it. Rylander had circulation in 2024, that's what the report is, 128,574. Minocqua had 114,217.
And the square footage was?
Square footage,
1,000.
Rylander's got 15,195 square feet. Minocqua's got 14,233 square feet.
Yeah, so I'm not convinced I'd be in favor of this at this time because the budgets has been set, but the library and Newbold obviously pays, I believe, 168,000 to the library. But I do believe that this has to come back as a discussion because the FTEs is out of control at Rhinelander, in my opinion.
Any other questions? Okay,
We do have the right.
I still believe that, you know, the 7 towns can choose how much they're gonna pay. But it's ironic because the 7 towns can vote to basically raise the taxes on the 7 towns to cover the library. I think it's been going on for years. I believe that it's not going to break the libraries. They'll have to figure out how to adjust, just like we would at the county level or the town levels. So. Any other discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
Benson,
No.
Reed,
Nay.
Condado. Aye. Hess,
No.
Lopez. No. Couches,
No.
Schreier,
No.
Almakinder,
No.
Briggs,
Aye.
Ives,
Aye.
Timmon,
No.
Cushing,
Aye.
Sorgo,
No.
Harris,
No.
Fisher,
No,
Karwinski,
Aye.
Walden,
No.
Lee,
No.
we have 5 ayes, 11 noes, 2 student noes, and 5 absent.
5 aye, 11 no, 2 students, no, 5 absent, the motion fails. But. It's too early to get the budget hearing over with. I'll make the motion to reduce the budget to $474,735 to $354,317, a reduction of $120,318. That moves it to 80% coverage. Is there a second on the motion? What line are you cutting?
Can you clarify? I was just gonna say, you skipped the word library.
Oh, library budget. In other words, we'd be paying them at 80% versus 70% or 122%. I am sure if the towns, if they've up to those 7 towns that started charging them 122% of their things, I'm sure that number would go way up.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. Any further discussion?
I'll just duplicate my comment from last time. I mean, I agree with your concern. I really do. But as I said before, I can't support it today.
Yeah, Rob, yeah, I agree with Supervisor Freed. I think what you brought to the attention of this county board is that either the executive committee or somebody in 2025 needs to take charge here and bring the individuals in to try to explain these things. We've kind of stayed away from that. But what I'm hearing is there's a strong concern under your leadership that we need to address this, and I would agree we need to look at it in 2026.
If you're gonna cut, couldn't you cut a percentage versus all the way down to 80, since it sounds like some are
Well,
counting on a lot more?
the state requires us at 70%. I'm just taking an 80 figure.
Right.
Running those numbers up in there, so it's that 80% versus the 70%, but it's a lot lower than 122%.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Couldn't we take those percentages down to 10% this year and then work on it versus dropping everybody drastically?
Well, I got like 2 or 3 more motions, so.
Get to the lowest one.
I'm gonna get you guys all tired, and then you're just gonna vote to get out of here.
At all day.
Any further discussion on the motion? Clerk will call the roll.
Timmons,
No.
Cushing, Reed,
Nay.
Harris,
No.
Condado,
Aye.
Briggs,
Aye.
Jensen,
No.
Hess,
No.
Couches,
No.
Fisher,
no,
Lopez, Sorgel,
No.
Ives,
Aye.
Almakinder,
No.
Schreier,
no,
Walden, Lee,
No.
Halowinski,
Aye.
5 aye, 11 no, 2 student no, and 5 absent.
5 aye, 11 no, 2 no, 5 absent, motion fails. All right, you guys, I won't drag you through anymore. I think my point's been made in the library, and I am sure that we'll get more information in response to all of them.
Could I just get a point of order on the agenda? And maybe Tracy could just enlighten the county board on consent agenda follow, at the end of the agenda as opposed to.
We are on right now on 67, 2005, not the consent.
No, I think Billy wants to explain why the consent agenda comes after the.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so there's a number of resolutions in the consent agenda that if this budget passes, they're included in it. So the executive committee opted to move the consent agenda to following the levy resolution. So that if you choose to make any changes to those resolutions, you can do it during the budget first, and then we'll have to amend the resolution. So the general wage of the employees is an example. There's 3 opioid resolutions that are in there, that are included in the budget. I think those are the main ones.
Okay,
Thank you.
Billy, you done? Okay. Any other questions on resolution 67, 2025? Hearing none, clerk will call the roll.
Hess,
Aye.
Ives,
Aye.
Freed,
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Fisher,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
Sorgo.
Aye.
Lopez,
Aye.
Condado. Aye. Couches,
Aye.
Almakinder.
Aye.
Showalter absent. Cushing,
Aye.
Briggs,
Aye.
Timmons,
Aye.
Schreier,
Aye.
Walden. Lee. Halowinski.
Aye.
16 aye, 2 student aye, and 5 absent.
16 aye, 2 student aye, 5 absent, resolution 67, 2025 passes. We'll move on to the consent agenda. There's 15 consent resolution and 2 appointments.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as a second.
We have a motion second on the consent. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, clerk will call the roll on consent.
Condado.
Aye.
Sorgo.
Aye.
Lopez. Aye. Almakinder.
Aye.
Hess.
Aye.
Harris. Aye. Fisher.
Aye.
Jensen.
Aye.
Ives.
Aye.
Freed.
Aye.
Timmons.
Aye.
Ottinger is absent. Briggs.
Aye.
Couches.
Aye.
Schreier.
Aye.
Cushing.
Aye.
Lee. Walden. Halowinski.
Aye.
16 supervisor aye, 2 student ayes, and 5 absent.
16 ayes, 2 student ayes, 5 absent. The consent agenda passes.
May I make a comment, please?
Sure.
I just wanna, being the chairman of the executive committee, I really appreciate the time that the whole committee put in. The chairman made it a 7-member committee, and I thought, oh my God, this is gonna be so laborious and long. Each of the members, which is Mr. Schreier, Mr. Fisher, Mr. Showalter, Mr. Jensen, Ms. Harris, and Mr. Halowinski make up the team. And I think we come from varying different opinions on a lot of things. They did very tireless work, and all but maybe 2 motions, I think, during those 3 days, and there had to be 50 or 60 motions. I'm just coming up with round numbers. Of those, only 2 were not unanimous, which was strange. Mr. Chairman, I think you brought up very good concerns, and I very much appreciate your leadership. I'm a little embarrassed as chair of the committee that those questions weren't answered prior to. But I think the message is loud and clear, and we'll look into that as well as other things. I'd be, if I didn't recognize the staff as well, they've been part of this process for the years to meet the challenges that you outlined at the beginning of, considering the budget. You know, the raisings of costs of everything. Fortunately, we've been able to offset, and with the levy caps, we've been able to get increased revenues through sales tax, increasing fees through the county to maintain the services we're mandated to do, but not just the mandated ones. It's allowed us to support the Humane Society. It's allowed us to support the economic development and some other things that other people find very valued. We always talk about cutting the low hanging fruit. And that day we can all give the same speech each year. It's coming, and if there is an economic downturn, it'll happen faster. It's funny how when the feds start cutting some grant money or the state, it even accelerates it more and we get scared. But I think all of us it's funny, I was talking to Mr. Al McKinder about, we're having a discussion with a friend of ours and he accused us of just wanting job security. Which we kind of laugh about, Bob and I, because, you know, yeah, I put in for my day for today. But at the end of the day, I really think we're doing a community service, and one of the goals you look to do is just leave here and leave the county in better shape than when you got here. I hope that can be true when our times are up. But I really feel this budget's been responsible. We haven't gone into debt. I see at my town level, we have to go into debt. I mean, we have to borrow for the fire trucks. We have to borrow for the other trucks. That day may be coming, and we have a big challenge with what we're gonna do with the highway. There's some big dollars to be expended. But everyone, not just my committee, not just the staff, but all you supervisors that put in time with your committees. You should be proud of yourselves, because I joked with my wife, I can't understand why in Washington, they leave the room without coming to an agreement. That's insulting to me as a taxpayer. We didn't leave the room till we had a balanced budget to present to you, and it wasn't easy. But if everyone works together from different towns, different opinions, you can get the job done. But you don't leave the room till you get the job done. So thank you to everyone that's been involved. It's a long process. We do it each year. And Scott, thank you. I'm glad you've been part of the executive committee. You brought another perspective that's only benefiting the county. So I just wanted to make that comment. And I want to recognize Tracy too. She tirelessly went to every committee's meeting to oversee it. She has good questions at the committee meetings I was at. She brought good information to the executive committee, and she's been a true asset through this process. So thank you, everyone.
Finance.
Oh, Tina. Well, I should point out, Tina, it has been amazing in helping direct us through the challenges that we've identified. She's helping lay out some options for us to consider as we look at dealing with the highway and the rising costs and so forth. It's been invaluable. That's why I don't like thanking people, because you leave people out. But she's really been the backbone to all of this. So thank you to Tina and thank you to everyone else. Human Services with adopting the Tri-County. It's hats off to you guys too. That's a huge stepping stone, which we're still learning and trying to identify how to make it work efficiently. So.
And Billy, just to clarify, as far as the library, I didn't understand the library at the budget hearing. I was out of the state for a couple of weeks. Basically did this in the last couple of days and the more information. The Sugar Camp Town Chairman was going to come to the meeting. I told her not to because I wasn't gonna pursue it. But after last night studying out what I didn't understand, I felt it was to bring this subject up to the whole county board, and I'm glad that it turns out this way, and we'll work with the library and see where we go next year. So. Okay, any other? We're done with that. Let's get on to closed session. It's anticipated that a motion will be made second and approved by a roll call vote to enter the closed session pursuant to section 19.85, Sharon 10, parent G. Conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body, was rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the government. To be adopted by the body with respect to litigation which is or is likely to become involved. Topic, notice of circumstances of claimants filed by Consolidated Management Company, DBA or Consolidated Correctional Police Services. A roll call vote will be taken to go into closed session, and it is anticipated that the company board will return to open session by roll call vote to consider the remainder of the meeting agenda. Announcements of actions taken in closed session or take action based on closed session. Note if the announcement of the action taken is in closed session would compromise the need for a closed session. The action taken will not be announced. Any action taken in closed session may be announced when the need for the closed session has passed. I need a motion to go into closed session.
Move to go into closed session.
Second.
We have a motion in a second. Ted?
Aye.
Raymo?
Aye.
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 I,
And I.
So I just need a moment, real quick for anybody who is on the
Oh, we can
YouTube.
get Stephen and.
Oh, Stephen and Russ, do you wanna vote on going into closed session?
Aye.
Aye.
So if you're on the YouTube, unfortunately, because I have people on Zoom, I will have to end the live stream. There will be a recording in my office, or you can call and, we will happily tell you any announcement that's made.